Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome into your performance management class. I hope you all have a wonderful day. So, we are starting today with volume 1, and we are covering syllabus section B, starting with section B, that is specialist cost and management accounting techniques. Okay, after this, we will be moving on to section C, that is decision making, section D, that is budgeting and standard costing, then section E, that is on performance measurement, and then we will, at the end, we will be covering section A, that is information system and data. Okay, so last class was introductory class where I explained the details about syllabus, performance management syllabus, about performance management exam, about performance management question style, about performance management paper, and all that I already have covered in the last introductory class. And today we are going to start with our chapter 1, activity-based costing, and we will also be covering chapter 2 and chapter 3, I hope, target costing and life cycle costing. So today's class is going to be very interesting and very exciting. Okay, so let's start with activity-based costing. Last class, I did a short example from traditional absorption costing, okay, where I solved the example on traditional absorption costing. I explained that how overheads are absorbed under traditional absorption costing, okay? So you know that under traditional absorption costing, that is traditional, conventional, old, historical method of absorbing overheads and how that works. Under traditional absorption costing, we use a single overhead rate, a single overhead rate, a single overhead rate to absorb overheads into the cost of the products. This method was okay. Traditional absorption costing was okay when the businesses and business processes and business activities were simple. For example, if we were living in 1960, 1950, 1970, 1980, 1990, you think of if we are living in 1980s, 1990s, it was okay to use traditional absorption costing methods. The reason? Because products were simple, processes were simple. There were few services that businesses used to provide, and overall there were few products. Products were not very complicated, etc., etc., etc. And now come to 21st century. So this is where I have put this heading. Cost structures of 21st century business models have dramatically changed. Very interesting. Let's have a quick reading of this so you can have some idea about this. The 20th century saw an accelerating shift from traditional labor-based activities. What that mean? That mean that previously most of the jobs were done by labor in production, in services. And what is today? Can anyone respond? Is labor still relevant today? Can you please respond? Is role of labor still important? as it was last century, in 20th century? Yes or no? So, yes, Mitosha, you are right that today machines have become more predominant. Yes, machines have become more critical role. Machine has replaced labor. In 21st century, machines have taken the central role in doing business. So role has changed. Very interesting to know. This is roles have changed. Okay. Today we are talking about AI, artificial intelligence. We are talking about machine learning. We are talking about algorithms, and we are talking about big data. So all these are the new things that are taking the role. So the point is that conventionally, the labor-intensive jobs have been replaced by machines. Okay. So production procedures now require more automation. In the past, production employees used equipment to assist them in performing their jobs. Means in the past, machines were used as supportive, but now today human are used as supportive. Means human have supportive roles. That's a very interesting shift in the roles. Okay, shift. Now employees spend considerable time in scheduling. Yes, so role has changed now. So employees spend time on scheduling, setting up, maintaining, moving materials to and from equipment, etc., etc. In the low-tech, labor-intensive manufacturing environment, factors related to direct labor were often the primary drivers of manufacturing overhead cost. Yes, you think about where labor was more uh, labor role was more major role. Over there, overheads were absorbed on the basis of the labor hours. But in high-tech automated environment, there are many other factors which are driving the manufacturing overheads, and the specific set of cost or drivers differ from organization to organization. That is interesting point. That is interesting to know. This is interesting to know that the drivers of those overheads or drivers of those costs vary from industry to industry. For example, in service industries or manufacturing industries, okay, the drivers are different. Okay, so this is all about the new developments. Background, if we talk about, you have developed an understanding of the traditional techniques of absorption costing and marginal costing in your management accounting studies. We will now develop these costing techniques to further to consider the various industries and situations to which different costing techniques can be applied. This chapter will address the concept of activity-based costing. So what is ABC? ABC is a refined version of absorption costing, or you can say ABC is an advanced version of absorption costing. ABC is a refined version of absorption costing. Traditional absorption costing techniques allocate and apportion overheads to large cost centers. Yes, in traditionally, overheads were used to be charged to. ABC focuses on how overheads can be more reasonably charged to cost units in a manner which reflect the cost units usage of the specific overhead. Yes. So in traditional absorption costing, overheads were usually absorbed to departments, and from each department, overheads were charged to products. But under ABC, we don't allocate overheads to departments. No, we allocate overheads to activities and then absorb overheads from each activity. This is the method that you need to learn. This may lead to a business having multiple absorption rates using ABC. Yes. So instead of having a single absorption rate under ABC, there are multiple absorption rates which we absorb from the activities to the products. So it is important to be able to calculate how to absorb overheads. Yes, this is what you need to know, that how to absorb overheads using traditional absorption, both traditional absorption costing and ABC. Examiner expects you to be able to understand and interpret your results and also know the drawbacks of the techniques. This written understanding will inevitably have to be applied to the scenario in the question. Yes, my dear, you should know that how to absorb overheads under both methods, traditional and ABC. Okay, so this is the research inside. This is the reading for you. You can go through that how the ABC method has been developed over the years. Okay, next now let's talk about traditional absorption costing. As I mentioned that under traditional absorption costing, overheads are absorbed using a single rate of overhead absorption. As I told you, this is the overhead absorption rate, the total overheads cost divided by total activity. So in this way, we can absorb overheads. And under traditional absorption costing, overheads were used to be absorbed to cost centers. And from the cost centers, overheads were absorbed to cost units. But under ABC, overheads are charged to activities, not cost centers or departments. I hope you have understood this one. Next now. So what are the problems with traditional absorption costing? There are various problems with traditional absorption costing when it is applied to modern manufacturing. Increased product complexity. Yes, today complex as comparison to last century. Okay, so here the single rate might not work. Number two, increased capital intensity of modern manufacturing mean modern plants, modern products, modern manufacturing facilities are highly technological intensive. For example, if I give you, like there are sensors, there is automation, lot of sensors are installed, and there's a more Internet of Things and IIoT. Have you heard about these things? IoT and IIoT. Have you heard about this? Internet of Things and Industrial Internet of Things. Okay, let me make it simple for you. Do you know how many sensors are installed in modern cars? Modern car. For example, if you buy a Honda today, I'm not talking about BMW or Mercedes, which are equipped with more sensors. If you buy a Honda or Toyota today, there are a lot of sensors are installed, okay, about weather, about light, about fog, about the different tire pressure, about outside temperature, belt sensor, driving brake, sensors are even talking with communicating with the car and also communicating with the driver as well. This is one example of Internet of Things or industrial. So when this technology of Internet of Things is applied at large scale in manufacturing facilities, where there are thousands of robots are working, like thousands of robots are interconnecting with each other, interconnecting with each other. That is a use of IIoT. If you want to know about this, just watch on YouTube any modern car assembly facilities. You would be amazed at how robots are coordinating with each other. Have you watched such any video where robots are painting, robots are assembling cars, robots are interacting with each other? Have you watched any such video? You probably have. So that is use of Internet of Things and industrial Internet of Things. So basically, I want you to know what is modern manufacturing, what is a complex manufacturing. And interestingly, this phenomena was not in the past. This is modern day manufacturing. So that's why the nature of overheads have changed. The third point is the greater proportion of overhead cost. Overhead costs are likely to be greater percentage of total cost. Yes. So when we are using a lot of robots, lot of technology, lot of programming, lot of inspection, lot of checking, lot of planning. So the nature of overheads have changed. All right. Nature of overheads have changed in modern business environment. Okay, I hope this all discussion would help you to understand a broader picture. Now we are going to start what is ABC. ABC is an alternative approach to costing. It is a form of absorption costing. But rather than absorption overheads on a product volume basis, means using a single rate, it firstly allocates them to cost pools before absorbing them into cost units. So how does it work? When is ABC relevant? ABC is more expensive system to operate than traditional costing. So it should only be introduced when it is appropriate to do so. Yes, it should be only used when it is appropriate to do so. Activity-based costing could provide much more meaningful information about product cost and profits. Yes. So what are those situations where when ABC makes sense or ABC is relevant? These are the situations. Number one, where indirect costs are higher relative to direct cost. What are indirect costs? Indirect costs are overhead costs. So in simple, where overhead costs are higher than direct cost. What are direct costs? You know, direct cost or direct material, direct labor cost. So where overhead costs are higher than direct material and direct labor cost, under such circumstances, it makes sense to use activity-based costing. Number two, where product and services are complex. I gave you examples of modern car assembly plants, modern electronics manufacturing facilities, and similar lot of other modern businesses. If you have been any like food processing plants or similar, where there's a lot of automation, just watch, if you have watched the food processing facilities, food processing, food packaging facilities, you might have seen a lot of automation in such facilities. So all those situations are complex. Okay. Number three, where products or services are tailored to customer specification. Yes. Again, I would give you example of a car. For example, these days, car manufacturers offer a lot of customization in car. So if a car is assembled according to the customer specification, it would become more complicated. So a single rate would not be helpful. You need to use multiple driver rates. And number one more, some products are sold in large numbers, but others are sold in small numbers. For example, Honda cars or Toyota cars, some of their models are sold in large numbers, but their premium models, for example, you talk about Land Cruiser or you talk about Lexus models, they are sold in small numbers. So some products are sold in large, some products are sold in small. Understand? So if this is the situation, it makes sense for activity-based costing. So I hope that you have understood the situation where ABC makes sense. Got it? Next, learning objective or learning outcome from the performance management syllabus is identify appropriate cost drivers under ABC. Yes, a question might ask you to identify suitable cost drivers for different activities. So before we go and learn about cost drivers, first we need to know about activity ABC process. So ABC process starts with this. ABC process starts with number one, identify activities of the organization. First of all, you need to identify what are the major activities. Sure, activities, and it would not be it would be very complicated, or may not be possible to like use all these options. Otherwise, it would become very complicated. The system would become very complicated. So you need to identify major activities. Okay, major activities from the processes. What are the major? What are the critical activities? Okay, so that is the point. They should be activities that use up a large amount of resources. That is the point. You need to identify those activities that consume resources, such as labor time. However, there are many different activities within a manufacturing company, and it is not always clear which activities should be used for costing. Okay, so that's why it would be a little bit complicated. Activities might include, so here are examples of activities. For example, activities can be material handling and storage, like material handle and store within the warehouse. That is activity. Activity can be customer order processing and chasing. For example, customer has made order on phone, online, on website. So you have to now process the order, and there is a cost of order processing. For example, you are 2 or 3 persons. Okay, your 2 or 3 staff members might be allocated to chase that order from receiving order till delivering that order. So who will monitor, who will keep track of all this? You need, there is a cost. Material purchasing, when you purchase material, there is a cost. Like you are looking for suppliers, then you are tracking suppliers, chasing suppliers, you are checking inspection, quality, all that. There is a cost. Material purchasing, there's a cost. Quality control and inspection, you need to make sure that all materials have the required quality. And also, you need to make sure that your products also meet the quality criteria. And if you do this, you need to have quality audits. So if you perform quality audits, there is a cost. Similarly, production planning, it takes a lot of time. Planning, and your experts, your managers would be engaged in production planning. It requires time and there's a cost. So this is also activity. Repairs and maintenance. It is possible that your products might be damaged, materials might be damaged. So you need to fix those damages. You need to repair, you need to offer service, and this is also costly. So, in short, in simple, I hope you have understood that there are different types of activities are performed within the business, and activities consume resources. Are you clear? Are you clear about this? What are activities? Very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Next now. Now let's talk about cost drivers. This is step number 2. So first step was identify activities. Step 2 is now identify cost drivers. Once activities are established, okay, now identify cost drivers for each activity. For each activity, there should be a cost driver. An activity might have more than one cost driver, but if an activity does have more than one cost driver, the costing system become complex. So what we have to do, we have to just keep one cost driver per activity, one driver for each activity. A cost driver for an activity can be defined as a factor that determines the cost of the activity. Okay, this is the factor that determine cost of, meaning more this factor is working, higher will be the cost in that activity. So that's why it is something that will cause the cost for an activity to increase as more activity is performed. It is not always what the cost might be. So here are a few examples for cost drivers to make easy things for you. For example, activity is material handling and storage. So what can be its suitable cost driver? Its suitable cost driver can be raw material like purchases or volume of products made. This can be its driver. So more volume of products we make, higher will be the storage cost. More material are purchased, higher will be material handling cost. I hope you are understanding this link. Customer order processing. What should be its driver? Very simple. Number of customer order. Higher customer order mean higher customer order processing cost. Next, material purchase. What should be its driver? Its driver is number of purchase orders. Okay, so more material are purchased, more orders are made, higher will be material purchasing cost. Next, quality control and inspection. Its driver is number of inspection. Very simple. More inspection mean higher quality control and inspection cost. Next, production planning. Number of production runs or batches is a suitable driver for this. Repairs and maintenance. Number of machines or machine hours operated. This is a suitable driver. More machine hours, higher will be repairs and maintenance cost. Selling, what should be its driver? Number of sale orders. Warehouse and dispatch, what should be its driver? Number of deliveries made. So if you look at this, this is simple. This is easy to understand. Activity, and every activity has a driver. So I hope you have understood this activities and driver. Okay, so note, there's a note, each cost driver must be factor that can be measured so that the number of units, yeah, it should be measurable. Every driver must be measurable. That's a simple thing. There is no technicality. Okay, so the outcome next. Calculate cost per driver and cost per unit using ABC. This is the syllabus requirement. Means questions can ask you MCQs. MCQs can ask you to calculate cost per driver and cost per unit. Okay, if this is, you can expect section B questions, because section B questions, there are three section B questions, scenario-based questions, where every question will have every scenario will have 5 questions. So you can expect this type of long question on ABC in section B. Okay, all right. Here is a step-by-step process of ABC. Okay, step number 1 and step number 2, you are already clear. Got it? Step number 1 about identify activities. Step number 2 is about identify cost driver. Step number 3 is now calculate total cost of each activity. Total cost of each activity. This is called calculate total cost of each activity. This is called the cost pool. Cost pool. Okay, we use word cost pool. And total number of drivers as well. So at step number 3, you have to calculate total cost of each activity plus total number of cost drivers. Now, let me give you a tip here. This point, total cost will be given to you. Total cost of each activity is given in the question. Given in the questions. So what is technical? This one. Total number of drivers. A question may require to calculate this. Okay, so this you should know that sometimes a question may ask you to calculate the total number of drivers. Okay, once this is done, step number 3, step number 4, now you have to calculate cost per driver or driver rate. Calculate driver rate or cost per driver. So how you calculate this one? That is simple. Just like as the overhead absorption rate. So the formula is total cost of activity divided by total number of drivers. So total cost of activity is given to you in the question. Total number of drivers sometimes given, sometimes you have to calculate this for the activity. So in this way, you can calculate driver rate. Once this is done, driver rate is done. Now step number 5 is here. Calculate total overhead cost for each product. So now you can calculate using the driver rate and number of drivers used by each product. You can calculate this one. So how will you calculate this one? You have to calculate this for each activity separately. Okay, for the product. Okay, and step number 6, calculate overhead cost per unit. So this one, the total overheads of the product divided by budgeted units. And step number 7, you can calculate product cost per unit. So how many calculations are involved here? Guess how many calculations are involved? How many calculations are involved or required? So first of all, this is the number 1. Calculate number of drivers. Sometimes given, sometimes you may need to calculate. Step number 2, this one. This calculation, the activity driver rate, this calculation is involved. This Then this one calculation is required. Calculate total overhead for each product. Then this calculation is required, the overhead cost per unit. And then this calculation is required, calculate product cost by adding overheads to the prime cost. Okay, or direct cost. So these are the 5 types of calculation, 5 types of calculation required. Okay, is there any question that you would like to ask? Are you okay with the 5 points that the question might ask you? I hope it's clear. No question? Okay, you can ask me if there's any confusion, you can ask me. So here is the illustrative examples, and there's a one note that some questions ask for production cost per unit and profit or loss per unit. Yes, some question even might ask you. So profit and loss, you can, to calculate profit and loss, you need product cost. Okay, so after the product cost calculation, you can calculate the product profit or loss as well. So this example will help you to apply the ABC whole topic in this illustrative example. What I will do, I will explain this from solution because solution is already there. So I will explain this whole example here. I have also solution in Excel sheet as well that I will share it with you later. Okay, and after this illustrative example, you will be okay, you will be fine with ABC whole approach. Okay, so let's discuss this illustrative example. 𝐏𝐞𝐂𝐂 Limited has a single production process for which the following costs have been estimated for the period ending 31st December 20x1. So these are the 3 different types of cost. Material receipt and inspection cost, that is 15,600. There are power costs that are 19,500. There are material handling costs that are 13,650. Okay, these are 3 different types of cost. 3 products X, Y, and Z are produced by workers who perform a number of operations on material blanks using handheld electrically powered drills. Okay, the workers are paid $4 per hour. Okay, the following budgeted information has been obtained for the period ending 31st December 20x1. So these are the information given. Product X, product Y, product Z, its production. By the way, you need to learn how to read data. Learn how to read and understand data. Part of your PM preparation. Okay, so this table offers you 3 products, product X, product Y, product Z. Its production quantity, mean in units. Its production quantity is given. There are 2,000 units of X, 1,500 units of Y, 800 units of product Z. Batches of material planned are 10 batches are planned for X, 5 batches are planned for Y, 16 batches are planned for Z. Okay. So this is the 10 batches, 5 batches, 16 batches for 3 products. Data per product unit. It means this data is not product unit. This data is total. Batches of material 10, 5, 16. This is total data for total production. Now you are told that this is per unit data. Okay. Direct material square meters. This is quantity of materials. Quantity. 4 square per meter for X, 6 square meters for Y, 3 square meters for Z. Direct material cost in dollar. First, you are told direct material square meters quantity. Now you are told direct material cost in dollar. And keep in mind, this is per unit. Okay. Some students, if they don't pay attention, they might make mistake. So please note that this is per unit. Direct material cost per unit. This is $5, this is $3, this is $6. Direct labor time. Direct labor time. So this is in minutes. How many minutes? This is also a tricky. Some students make mistake. Please pay attention. Okay, so this is 24 minutes, 40 minutes, and 60 minutes. You can convert this into hours as well. So if you want to convert this into hours, what you have to do, 24 divided by 60, 40 divided by 60, 60 divided by 60. So in this way, you can change it to hours. Number of power drill operations. Number of power drill operations per unit data. 6, 3, and 2. All right, so this is the data you are provided. Now, overhead costs for material receipt and inspection, process, power, and material handling are presently each absorbed by product units using rates per direct labor hour. You are told that currently overheads cost for all three types, these are the three types. All three types are being absorbed using direct labor hours. Okay. Now, an activity-based costing investigation has revealed that the cost drivers for the overhead costs are as follows. So now you are told that an ABC analysis has been performed, and after that, these drivers have been identified for each activity. So these are activities. These are activities, and these are drivers. They are cost drivers. So for material receipt and inspection, its a driver is a number of batches of material. For process power, its driver is a number of power drill operations. For material handling, its driver is quantity of material handled in square meters. So you are told what are cost driver for each. Okay, required. Prepare a summary. Prepare a summary. So requirement is prepare a summary which shows budgeted product cost per unit for each product XYZ for the period, detailing the unit cost for each cost element using existing method for absorption overhead cost and approach using ABC method. In short, you are asked to calculate or prepare a summary of cost calculation using both methods of overheads. Very simple, easy, but before that, you need to make sure you understand the question data clearly. So for that reason, I can give you 5 to 6 minutes for going through the question again, understand everything, and if there's any confusion, if there's any question in your mind, note it down. Okay. After 4 to 5 minutes, we will discuss solution. Okay, solution is already done here. Just we will discuss it. And then after this, there are practice questions that we will be working on. Okay, so take 5 minutes and read this question data clearly. After that, we will work on answer. Okay, great. Take your time. Performance management is very interesting, very interesting. Just you need focus and understanding. Okay, so I hope you have understood the data that there are three activities: material receipt, inspection, and inspection cost. This one, power cost and material handling cost. These are the three activities. And then you are told that the other data is that the labor rate is $4 per hour. Okay, workers are paid. And you are also told in this table the other details about the data. Okay. And then you are told that currently the overheads are absorbed using direct labor hour basis. Okay. And now an ABC investigation or ABC analysis has been performed. And after that, following cost drivers have been identified for each activity. And the requirement is that you have to calculate the product cost using existing method and using ABC method of overhead absorption. Okay, so here is the answer. All right, first of all, what we need to do is, first of all, we need to calculate the direct cost. Okay, so how to calculate direct cost of each? This table can help you. Okay, this is the product X, product Y, product Z. Direct material cost is given here. I can put numbers here. Direct material cost is given this one. Number one, direct material cost for product X, 5, for product Y, 3, for product Z, 6. Okay, so this is put here. This one, and this one. Now you have to add the direct labor. Now, direct labor is not directly given. You need to calculate it. You need to calculate in this question, or this needs to be calculated. This needs to be calculated. So how to calculate this? Indirect data is given. What is indirect data? You are told that labor rate is $4 per hour. $4 per hour is the rate. Okay, and labor time is given here. Labor time in minutes. Number two, you are told that the labor 24 minutes, 40 minutes, and 60 minutes. So what you have to do, using this $4 per hour rate, you have to calculate how much labor cost for each product. So for product X that consume 24 minutes and the labor rate is $4 per hour. So what we will do, this is for calculation for product X. 24 minutes divided by 60 multiplied by 4 is equal to 1.6. Similarly, for product Y, it consumes 40 minutes. So 40 divided by 60 multiplied by 4, this is 2.67. And product Z, that requires 60 minutes. So mean 1 hour multiplied by $4. So this is 4. Got it? So in this way, we can calculate direct labor cost. Direct material cost is already given. Now we can calculate direct labor cost. I hope you have understood this calculation, how to perform this calculation. And by the way, performance management questions often test this calculation of labor cost. Okay, once this is done, next, now we can calculate, now calculate OAR using direct overhead cost, this one, this. You need to sum up this 15,600, 19,500, and 13,650. You need to sum up this. So the total of this, can you please do total? Can you please do total of this? Quick. Wonderful. Thank you, Norma. Thank you, Nishika. 48750. 48750. So total overheads are 48750. Perfect. Here it is 48750. Divide by, now you need to calculate total labor hours. You need total direct labor hours. This needs to be calculated. You see, these are the small calculation where PM students get stuck. Okay, that's why I am emphasizing a lot on this to build your base so you should not get stuck. So these calculations should be just simple for you. Okay, this needs to be calculated. So how to calculate? Here is the calculation. Here is the calculation. This one, this one, this one. 3 products are there. You need to calculate total hours for each product. So you will be using this demand, 2000 demand, 1500 demand, and 800 demand. Okay. This multiplied by direct labor, this one, 24 minutes, and divided by 60. So in this way, you can calculate total hours for X, total hours for Y, and total hours for Z. Can you do in 1.5 minutes? Can you do it? A quick, easy challenge. Do it. Total hours for X, total hours for Y, and total hours for Z. I would appreciate, I would encourage you to take advantage of this live class and do tuck. Just do it. Just do it. Total hours for X, total hours for Y, total hours for Z. This is great. How many hours for X? How many hours for X? Very good. Very good. 800 hours. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 1000 for Y and Z. 800. Perfect. So the total of these are 2600. Well done. Well done, well done, well done. So these are 2600 direct labor hours that we need here for calculation. So here is 2600 hours. Okay, 2600 hours. And now you can calculate the direct labor rate. Please just do it. What is OAR? OAR. 18.75 per direct labor hour. Very good. This is the OAR 18 point. So this is the hourly rate we have calculated. Now absorb overheads in the cost of each product using OAR. So here comes. Okay, so in this table, you can see that direct material cost already done, direct labor cost we have already done. Here come, this is total, this is called direct cost. This is called direct cost. Now we can absorb overheads. Now absorb overheads. So how much overheads to absorb into the cost of each product? For product X, how much to absorb? It consumed 24 minutes. You can see here, 24 minutes. Okay, 24 minutes. Product Y consumed 40 minutes. And product Z consumed 60 minutes. Okay. All right. So this one I can put again here. 24 minutes, 40 minutes, and 60 minutes. So we have to absorb overheads into the cost of each product according to this time consumed. Okay, so 24 minutes. So here is overhead absorption. 24 divided by 60 multiplied by our rate is 18.75. So this is equal to 7.5. Similarly, product Y consume 40 minutes. 40 divided by 60 multiplied by 18.75 is equal to 12.5. And product Z required 60 minutes. 60 minutes divided by 60 multiplied by 18.75. So this is the 1 hour rate, 60 divided by 60. So this is the 1 hour. So this is how overheads are absorbed into the cost of the product. And here is the absorption cost, or called product cost. Total product cost under absorption costing per unit. 14.1, 18.17, and 28.75. Is it clear? Is this clear how we need to perform all these calculations? Are you okay? There is, I hope there's no any difficulty or complications. Hello, hello. Is this clear? Zainab, Ramjatan, Nishika, everyone? Very good, very good. Thank you, thank you. Thanks. Perfect. Amazing. Great. Wonderful. So you are understood that how to absorb overheads under traditional absorption costing. Now, here is a note. You need this note. The absorption cost per unit that we have calculated do not truly reflect an accurate valuation of these products. We need to calculate a much fairer valuation using ABC methodology. Yes, using ABC would calculate product cost more accurately than under traditional absorption costing. So here comes budgeted cost per unit using ABC. Let's calculate ABC. So we step one, we need to calculate driver rates. How to calculate driver rates? By the way, before calculation of the driver rates, we need to like calculate the number of drivers. So number of drivers, we need to check if number of drivers are given or not. So we need to perform this calculation here. Let me remove all this. Number of drivers. To calculate driver rate, we need number of driver. So number of driver, we need to calculate total number of batches of material, total number of power drill operations, and we need calculate total quantity of material handled. And you are given indirect data. And by the way, questions may ask you to calculate this. So first of all, number of batches of material. How many batches of material will be required? Here you are given 10, 5, and 16. So how much is the total? 10 plus 5 plus 16. The total number of driver for all product, number of batches of material are 16. Are you clear? Are you clear on this, right? Okay. Next. This is 16. Next, we need total number of power drill operations. So how many power drill operations are required for product X? We are given data that number of power drill operation for product X is 6 power drill per unit. 6 per unit. So if we are making 2,000 units, then the total number of power drill operation for product X will be 2,000 multiplied by 6 is equal to 12,000. So this is for X, it is 12,000 plus for Y, it is 3 per unit and 1,500 units. So that is 4,500 plus for product Z, it remains 2 and number of units are 800. So 2 multiplied by 800 is equal to 1,600. So can you please calculate the total number of power drill operations required? How many total? Very good, wonderful. 18,100. And then we need the quantity of material handled in square meters. Quantity of material handled in square meters. Where is this data? This data is here. 4 square meters for product X per unit. 6 square meters for product Y per unit. And 3 square meter for product Z per unit. So you have to multiply this with their number of units to calculate total for each product. Okay, so how many quantity of material handled for product X? 4 multiplied by 2,000 is equal to 8,000. 8,000. Yes. For product Y, this is 6 multiplied by 1500 is equal to 9,000. And for product Z, this is 3 per unit multiplied by 800. This is equal to 2400. So what is total, please? This is 31. So this is 19,400. Okay, guys, are you clear how to calculate number of drivers? My dear, are you understood how you need to make these calculations? How to make these calculations. Okay. So once drivers are done, now we can calculate driver rates. So we can use now this table. Driver rates are here. For activity 1, for activity 2, for activity 3. For activity 1, material receipt and inspection, its total cost is 15,600. Here it is given 15,600, and its total number of driver is 31. So 15,600 divided by 31, and its driver rate. Can you please quickly calculate driver rate? Next one is 19,500 divided by its total driver is 18,100. And the third one is 13,650 divided by 19,400. So the driver rates are, this is the activity cost, also called cost pool, divided by number of drivers that we have calculated. So the driver rates are 503.23 per batch. Next is 1.0773. You can use 3 digits or maximum 4 digits after point, okay? 1.0773 per power drill operation. And the third one is 0.7036 per meter or per square meter. Okay, this is called driver rates. Exam question can test your knowledge. PM exam questions can test this knowledge. Okay, so far we have done driver rates. Once driver rates are done, next step is now calculate total overheads for each product. Okay, so total overheads for each product. This solution is a bit lengthy. The one I have done in the Excel is easy. Because in this solution, they have done calculation for every activity separately. So this makes the question long, but the one I have done is a bit shorter. Okay, so next step products. So first of all, our first activity number one. Our first activity number one, here is the product X, product Y, product Z. And our first activity is the material receipt and inspection. So cost driver is like 10 batches for X, 5 batches for Y, and 16 batches for Z. It's given. Cost per batch is 503 that we have done here. So multiply this, and we have the total cost of material receipt and inspection for product X 5032, for product Y 2516, and product Z, this is 8051. This is the product cost, overhead cost of material receipt and inspection for each product. Once this is done, okay, so next one is we can calculate this one per unit as well. If we want to calculate, we can calculate it per unit as well. So this is the total cost of each product divided by number of units. So when we divide by number of units, this is 2.52, 1.68, and 10.06 is the cost. This is the material receipt and inspection cost per unit of each product. Simple calculation. Simple. Just you need to go through one and it will be okay. Next is the process power. Process power, we need to first calculate total process power cost of each product. Okay. So power, first, the total number of driver is 12,000, 4,500, and 1,600 multiplied by driver rate. This is total number of driver. This is driver rate. Okay, so multiply this one and total cost of the product. Total cost, total process power cost of the product is this one, 12,927.6, this one and this one. And now we can calculate the cost per unit of process power. So divide by number of units, and here is the cost. Okay, this is the power cost per unit for each product. Similarly, material handling cost. So first of all, total number of driver. Total number of driver, that is the quantity of material, 8,000, 9,000, 2,400. We have done already this one. Already we have done all these calculations. This one. Okay. So this one we can, and then it's driver rate that we have calculated, multiplied. This is the total cost, and this is the cost per unit of product X, Y, and Z for material handling. So as I told you, this solution is a bit longer. Okay, the one I have done, I will share it with you later. So that is more simplified, where formulas are used and everything I have provided with all details. Okay, so we have done this one, cost per unit, this one, and this one. So now we can add all this. This one, this is the material receipt and inspection cost per unit. This is the process power cost per unit, and this is the material handling cost per unit. So we have done all this, and here we can absorb into the product cost. You know, this is the direct cost. We had done already, and here is this one, material receipt and inspection. This is the process power, and this is the material handling cost from previous three tables. You can see it here. So by absorbing this, here is the total unit cost. So the total unit cost of product X is 18.39 Product Y is 14.8 and product Z is 24.32. So this is the total unit cost or total product cost per unit is under ABC. Now what we need to do is we need to compare this with traditional absorption costing. So if we compare this one with traditional absorption costing, if you look at this, what I have highlighted, the total absorption cost, that product X, that is 14.1, product Y 18.17, and product Z is 28.75. And here, this is different, 18.39. So we can make a comparison. We can make a comparison of both costs. So we can know the difference in cost per unit. I think some question may ask you this level of calculation as well in section B, as I told you. So compare the cost of both, and here is, you can see that product X, its product X, its absorption cost is 14.1, ABC cost is 18.4. So under ABC, its cost is higher. As we know that ABC method is more accurate. ABC, under ABC method, overheads are absorbed into the cost of the products more accurately than absorption costing. Okay, because under ABC, ABC absorbs overheads into cost more accurately. The reason, because it does not uses a single rate, rather it uses multiple drivers. If I make it more simple for you, it means it absorbs overheads with more details. Okay, it absorbs, rather than using a single rate, it absorbs using details. That's why it is more accurate. So product X has higher cost of higher cost than the under absorption costing. What is the reason? The reason is because product X consume more resources. Okay, is consume more resources. That's why it is charged with more overheads. Product Y, its absorption cost per unit is 18.7. ABC is 14 point, means its cost has decreased under ABC. What is the reason? Why its cost has decreased under ABC? Because it means under absorption costing, overheads were over-absorbed into the cost of product Y. It means overheads were not accurately charged. More overheads were charged to product Y. But under ABC, it consumed less resources, so less overheads. Similarly, product Z, under absorption costing, it was charged with 28.7, but under ABC, it is charged with 24.3. So there's a difference of lower, less overheads, more overheads. So less overheads, it absorbs less overheads under when ABC is used, because ABC offers more detailed analysis. It offers detailed analysis of overheads, more accurate analysis of overheads, more precise analysis of overheads, more precise under ABC. Okay, so this means that when ABC is used, the product cost is different. And now you need to learn the next point, that because the selling price is determined using the cost. So if cost is not accurately calculated, means the price would not be calculated accurately. And if the price is not accurately calculated, it would affect profitability of the organization. So this is the point you need to note down. Very important learning. Very important learning. Why calculation of accurate cost is important? Accurate cost is important for profitability, okay, for price calculation, because price is calculated using the cost. So if cost is not accurate, price will not be accurate. So if price is not accurate, then for accurate profitability of a product would not be clear, would not be known if cost is not accurate. So I hope you have understood this very important learning. Guys, have you understood this very important learning? Why it is important to calculate accurate cost? Are you okay? Are you clear on this point? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wonderful, Mitusha, Tusha, and Nishika. Thank you. Okay, Hemita, thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Okay, so this is how to implement, how to use ABC for cost calculation. Now let's have a quick go through of advantage and disadvantages of activity-based costing. It offers more accurate cost. Yes, that is correct. I already explained that ABC offers detailed analysis of overheads. So as a result, if the cost is accurate cost per unit, pricing, sales strategy, performance management, and decision making will all be improved. Imagine decision making about what? Decision making about products, because accurate decision making, you can say that ABC offers accurate decision making. Okay. All right. And better cost understanding. How it is possible? Number two, better cost understanding, because detailed analysis of cost would offer better understanding of cost, better knowledge about the cost. At advanced performance management level, APM level, we use a quote: what gets measured gets done. What gets measured gets done. The more detailed analysis you do, the better you will understand about that. Okay, we use what gets measured gets done. What gets measured gets done. The more detailed analysis you do, the better you will know about that. Number three is fairer allocation of cost. The more you know, the better you know, the better way to allocate the cost. Number four, yes, you know with all the overheads, because now you have the knowledge of cost drivers. Number five, can be used in complex situations like complex manufacturing, complex products. Number six, can be applied beyond production. Yes, can also be used for non-production as well. For example, admin, for example, selling, distribution, etc. And can also be used in service industries as well. Not only manufacturing, but services. What services? For example, you can think of hotel industry. hostels, like hotels, hospitals, and like rentals, and any like service, any services. Okay, so these are the advantages of ABC. I hope you understand. What are drawbacks of ABC? It is not always relevant. Yes, it is not suitable for every situation. To apply ABC, you need certain criteria. You need to make sure that there are certain suitable situation to apply ABC. Two, still need arbitrary cost allocation. It is possible that you may not be able to find suitable cost driver for a particular activity. So you need to allocate those overheads on arbitrary basis. Need to choose appropriate drivers and activities. Yes. If appropriate drivers are not chosen, the whole base would be inaccurate. So make sure you choose the right appropriate drivers and activities. And number four, complex and expensive to operate. You may need software, need information investment in information systems, you need softwares, you need people, knowledge, expertise, skills to operate this. Okay, so this is all about A, B, C, activity-based costing. We can take a short break, 10 minutes here now. And meanwhile, if you would like, you can go through. And if you have any question, something is not clear, you have any doubt, you are welcome. This is your class. So feel free and ask me if there's anything you would like to ask. Okay. And by the way, these notes will be available to you. Hopefully tomorrow, where you will be able to download it. Okay, so this is after break. We will be solving one more quick question on ABC, and then after that, we will move on to target costing. Okay, so see you after 10 minutes. Welcome back. So we are now going to solve this question 3. There are more practice if you want to try question 2 and practice question 1. If you would like, I can share the answers with you, but I would suggest to try these questions first. So you should test your knowledge, okay? And I can share the answers with you. So here is the example, question 3. KY makes several products, including product W. KY is considering adopting an activity-based approach for setting its budget. The company's production activities, budgeted activity cost, and cost drivers for next year are given below. So you can see here the different data table is given, that the way the data is provided is different. You are given activity, activities are given, you are, this is the activity, total activity cost, which is also called cost pool. We use word cost pool. Cost pool mean the total cost of the activity. Then you are given cost drivers for each activity, and here you are also given the cost driver quantity. So in this question, a lot of calculation normally we have done in previous example, no needed, because these are already given. Okay. As I told you that normally this may be required sometimes. sometimes its calculation is required. Okay, so setup cost, that is 200,000. Its total cost. Its driver is number of setups, and total driver quantity is 800. Inspection or quality control is 120,000, and its cost driver is number of quality tests, and the total number of quality tests are 400. Stores receiving is 252,000, and its driver is number of purchase requisitions, and total number of driver is 1800. Machines are reset after each batch. Quality tests are carried out after every second batch. So this is further data. This is further data. Okay, that machines are reset after each batch. So every batch, one reset or set up is required. Okay, and quality tests are carried out after every second batch. Mean after every two batches, one quality test is performed. So budgeted data for product W for next year are given. Okay, product W budgeted data next year. Direct material cost of product W is 2.5 per unit. Direct labor, it requires 0.03 hours per unit, and the rate of labor is $18 per hour. So you have to calculate its labor cost. Batch size is 150 units. Number of purchase requisitions are 18, and budgeted production is 15,000 units. And what is required? Required is calculate using ABC costing budgeted total production cost per unit for product W. What you have to do? Budgeted total production cost per unit for product W. I can give you 3 minutes for a quick question reading, and after I will solve this question for you. 3 minutes you have just for quick understanding and reading of the question. By the way, in these 3 minutes, you can do one calculation, that is cost per driver. We need this one for our calculation, because without this, we cannot absorb overheads into the cost of product W. We need cost of driver. So you can perform this. You can take 4 minutes, do all this, and after 4 minutes, we will be doing the calculation. Please, must try. Must try. By the way, this type of questions you can expect in the budgeting section as well, in the long questions of section C of the paper. Okay, because there is a topic named activity-based budgeting. Okay, in activity-based budgeting, where you will be using ABC principles to prepare a budget for the organization. So this type of question you can expect in long question section C as well. Okay, I hope you have made the basic calculation. So let's first try cost per driver. What is the cost per driver for setup cost, please? Setup cost. What is cost of driver? 200,000 divided by 800. Then for inspection quality control, that is 120,000 divided by 400. And for store receiving, it is 252,000 divided by 1800. Okay, so can you please quickly calculate all this? Well done, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Hamita. So this is 250 per 250 per setup, then 300 per quality test. And next one is 140 per purchase requisition. Purchase requisition. Well done. Now, with the help of these cost drivers, we can calculate the budgeted cost per unit of product W. This is your working. Let's say this is working one. And now we can calculate the budgeted total production cost per unit. Okay, so first of all, this is direct material cost. Direct material cost is how much? 2.50 per unit. Next, direct labor cost. Direct labor cost, 0.03 hours are required. So 0.03 multiplied by hourly rate is 18. How much it is? Please calculate how much it is. Quick, please, quick, quick, quick. Hello. 0.03 plus absorb overheads using driver rates. Okay, so absorb overheads. First of all, set up cost from set up activity. Now the setup rate is $250 per setup. This is the rate. We need to know how many setups are required for product W. Product W, how many setups are required. So where we will get this data? This data is here. This data is here. The machines are reset after every batch. So how many batches are there? Batch size is 150 units. This is a little bit tricky calculation. Machines are reset after every batch. So you need to know how many batches are required. Okay. So we need to do this working here, working two, number of batches. Number of batches. Batch size is 150 and production is 15,000 units. So 15,000 units multiplied by batch size 150 units. So how many batches will be required? How many batches? Can you please quickly calculate how many batches? 100 batches. Well done. 100 batches are required. So if you look at this data, machines are reset after every batch. So if there are 100 batches, then how many setups will be required? How many setups will be required if you look at this data? That after every batch, one reset is required. Mean machines need to be set up after every batch. So if there are 100 batches, number of setups required for product W are equal to 100 multiplied by 1 is equal to 100 batches. Oh, sorry, 100 setups. 100 setups. I hope you have understood this point. 100 setups. Okay. So setup cost is 100 setups multiplied by cost per setup is 250. So this is this is $250 multiplied by 100 setups. This is 25,000. Or we can calculate this per unit. This is 25,000 divided by number of units being produced are 15,000. So 15,000. Please calculate this. 25,000 divided by 15,000. How much it is? Quick. This is 25,000 divided by 15,000 is equal to 1.67. Okay, we can use 1.67. Next is inspection cost. Inspection cost. So inspection cost, its driver rate is 300, this one, per quality test. $300 per quality test. So we need to know how many inspections will be required. So for this, we need to look at this data. Quality tests are carried out after every second batch. After every second batch, one quality test is required. Okay, we can do this working here. Working 3, number of quality tests. So the question says that quality tests are carried out after every second batch. So if there are 100 batches, how many quality tests are required? Divided by 2. So 50 quality tests, because one quality test is required after every second batch. Okay, so 50 quality tests are required. Okay, 50. So we can do this one here. The rate is 300 multiplied by 50, and this is equal to 15,000 divided by 15,000. How much it is? Inspection cost per unit. How much is it? 15,000 divided by 15,000 is equal to 1. Okay. Next, store receiving. Store receiving, its rate is 140 per purchase requisition. 140 per purchase requisition. Now you have to find out how many requisitions are required for product W. So this data is given here. Number of purchase requisition are 80. Total 80 requisitions are required for product W for 15,000 units. Okay, so this one, 140 multiplied by 80. How much is it? 140 multiplied by 80. So this one is 140 multiplied by 80 is equal to 11,200. And now you need to calculate per unit. So divide this by 15,000. Okay. 15,000, and this is 0.75. 0.75. Well done. Perfect. Wonderful. And now you can calculate the product cost per unit. Total product cost per unit of W. What is product cost per unit for W? Can you please quickly calculate? This is a good example, again, I would say, where you can be tested. And normally students struggle in these. You have noticed the little detail calculation where mistakes are highly likely. Okay, highly likely mistakes. Yes, so this one is 6.46. 6.46. Okay, this one, and this one. Okay, Nishika, my dear, are you clear? Total product cost. Everyone is clear? Is everyone clear how to perform ABC analysis? We have done two different questions. One with lot of little calculation, other with few calculation we have done. Okay. Perfect. Anyone has a question? Himita, my dear Mitosha, Ramjatan, Nishika, is there any question, any difficulty? Okay, well done. Perfect. So this is all about activity-based costing. Okay. Uh, I would recommend that you should try this question again. Okay. So you can have understanding unless, and please don't just write. Do this in Excel because in exam, you will need speed, you will need accuracy. So better you should do these calculations in Excel. Of course, in our next class, we will be doing these calculation in Excel. So you should start preparing for exam mindset from the very beginning. Okay, in exam, you will be performing all these calculations in Excel. So better to prepare it just now. Okay, so that's all about A, B, C, and how it is applied. Now we are going to discuss another approach towards costing, another method of costing. Okay, first of all, let me make it simple. In ABC, we have learned how to deal with overheads. So ABC is a method of dealing with overheads. In ABC, we don't uh, deal with direct cost. No, we only deal with overheads. But in target costing, we are going to have a different mindset towards costing or how to calculate cost. Okay, so let's start. What is target costing? Target cost is a product cost estimate derived by subtracting a desired profit margin from a competitive market price. Yes. In the beginning, it might be a little bit tricky for you to understand, but of course, it will be easy later. Okay. Under target costing, we follow a different approach. Okay. This one, let me write target costing. Follow a different approach. in cost calculation. What that means? If I compare traditional method of cost and price calculation is that we calculate first. First, we calculate cost, just like we have been doing with ABC, that direct material, that so we calculate product cost, direct material, direct labor plus overheads. And then this is the product cost. Once this is done, we add the price. So for price or sale price, we add product cost plus profit margin or markup, whatever we will add to sale price. We will add to the product cost. So this is the traditional equation or traditional model of cost calculation and price calculation. But unlike this, under target costing, we follow a different approach. What is that approach? Under target costing, we follow a different approach, and that is, first, we start with target price, or this is also called market-based price. So instead of starting from product cost under target costing, we start the process from market price. So we want to first know at what price we should sell our product. Market price. Then market price is equal to, target cost is equal to target cost equal to market price minus target profit. Understand? So this approach is followed under target costing. You can have a look at both approaches in cost calculation. Okay, you might be thinking that why it is me for using the approach of target costing, where we deduct our target profit out of market price to calculate the target cost. The reason is that this type of pricing is useful in competitive markets. You might be thinking, what are competitive markets? Competitive markets are those where there are large number of sellers are already selling their products or services. Okay, large number of sellers are there, and there's a lot of competition in the market. For example, I can give you example of like electronics. Electronics brands, let's say. How many electronics brands are there? There are like dozens of electronic brands. Same case is with the car brands as well. There are so many different car brands. They are competing with each other, competing with each other. So their conventional cost calculation method may not help them unless they follow out of the way approach, and that is called target cost. I hope you have understood the basic equation or the basic method of cost calculation, which is called target cost. Now we can look at the definition. Target cost or product cost estimate derived by subtracting a desired profit margin from a competitive market price. So this is the market price, and this is the target profit. We deduct to calculate target cost. Very interesting and very different way to product cost calculation. Okay, Japanese companies developed target costing. Japanese companies, the reason because there was a lot of competition in between Japanese companies, so they thought to go out of the approach, out of the box approach, I would say, out of the box approach to costing. Revolution, you can say this is a radical way to look at the product cost, unlike conventional method. Okay, so target costing is an activity which is aimed at reducing the life cycle cost. So what is the purpose? As I told you, that target costing is useful for competitive markets. So this method basically is to reduce the life cycle cost of new products. Yes, target costing is useful for new products. It is not used for existing products. It is used for new products which are under new development. For example, if a company is developing a new mobile phone, new mobile phone, or a new refrigerator, or a new television, okay, you can think of a new product while ensuring quality, reliability, and other consumer requirements by examining all possible ideas for cost reduction at the product planning, research and development, and the prototyping phases of production. Yes, so this target costing method is used at the research and development and product planning stages of the product. But it is not just a cost reduction technique. It's a part of comprehensive strategic profit management system. Wow, very interesting that target costing is not just a way to cut cost or reduce cost. It is a part of strategic profit management system for the organization. So concept in practice, when you can go through this, that when Toyota developed the Lexus model to compete with BMW, Mercedes, and Jaguar, it employed two basic concepts: reverse engineering and target costing. So you can go through. Next, target costing requires managers to think differently about relationship between cost, price, and profit. As I told you, this is out of the box approach, out of the box. You don't follow status quo, not follow status quo. Rather, you reinvent the way of looking at the cost. The traditional approach is to develop a product, determine the expected standard production cost, this, and then selling price, add margin, this, that. But one problem with this approach is that it can clearly result in a price that is unacceptable to customers, and at the same time provide no direct incentive to cut cost, and also may not suitable in highly competitive markets, not suitable in highly competitive markets. So in order to compete in where lot of competitors are, you need to look at the cost in a different way. So target costing is to develop a product concept and the primary specification for performance and design, and then to determine the price customers would be willing to pay for that concept. So first you develop the concept, what type, what product you are going to offer. For example, if a company is developing a laptop, so they will first develop the concept and then the price they will set that the customers would be willing to pay. The desired profit margin is deducted from the price, leaving a figure that represents total cost. This is the target cost, and the product must be capable of being produced for this amount. Otherwise, the product will not be manufactured. Okay, all right. So next, learning outcome. Derive our target cost in manufacturing and service industries. Yes, there are performance management questions can test your knowledge, these concepts. Okay, derive target cost in manufacturing and service industry. So, driving our target cost. The target cost is calculated by starting market-based price, as I mentioned earlier, subtracting a desired profit margin. The target cost is simply the price minus profit. So this equation I already have discussed, that target cost is equal to market price minus target profit. Okay, here is a short example. The selling price of a product Z is set at £250 for each unit, and sale for the coming year are expected to be 500 units. If the company requires a return of 15% in the coming year on its investment of £250,000 in product Z, the target cost for each unit for the coming year is target cost for each unit. So target cost, what is target cost? How to calculate target cost? It is market price minus target profit, or you can say target ROI. So market price in this question is 250. 250 pound minus the target ROI, you need to calculate target ROI. So that is 15% in the coming year on investment of 250,000. So 15% on 250,000. This is the total return for product C. And if you are making 500 units, then you divide it by 500. So how much it is? 250 minus, you need to calculate this, 15% of 250,000. 15% of 250,000. This is 37,500 divided by 500. So that is 75. Okay. Have you done this calculation, 75? Hello. Have you done, my dear, this 75 calculation? Well done. Well done. Okay, so the target cost is equal to 175 is the target cost. This is how you need to calculate target cost. I hope you have understood this one. Now, implementing target costing process, step-by-step approach, step-by-step approach to calculate, to apply and implement target costing process. One of the examiners of ACCA provides a useful summary of the steps in the implementation of target costing. So, and by the way, this step should be on, this whole process should be on your fingertips because exam questions might test this one. So step number one, you need to first of all determine or establish product specification. Establish product specification of which an adequate sale volume is estimated. For example, if you are going to develop a refrigerator, for example, or if you are going to develop a suitcase, if you are going to develop a like backpack, okay, for office goers, okay, so you have to establish what specification for that laptop or laptop backpack you want to develop, okay. And what sale volume you can estimate for that. Step 2, set a market-based selling price. So establish features, first of all, features or specs of the new product. That is a backpack, let's say backpack or any product. Okay. Then step number 2, you will set its market-based selling price at which organization will be able to achieve a desired market share. So step number 2, set a market-based selling price. Step number 3, you will establish your required profit margin, how much profit you want to earn on this product. Step number 3. Step number 4, now you will calculate its target cost. That is step number 4. Calculate target cost, that is equal to target selling price minus target profit. Once target cost is calculated, step number 5, compile an estimated cost for the product based on its current design specification. Okay, so at current cost level, step number 5, you need to calculate the current cost or estimated cost. Keep in mind that target cost and estimated cost, these are two different things. Target cost you are calculating by deducting target profit out of your target selling price. Whereas estimated cost is the one that you will calculate on the basis of your current cost standards. Current cost standards. Once you have calculated the estimated cost and target cost in step number 4 and 5, now you need to calculate an interesting thing, and this is called cost gap. You need to calculate target cost gap, and target cost gap is the difference between estimated cost and target cost. And keep in mind, at this level, your estimated cost will be higher than at this level. Estimated cost could be higher than target cost. And now this has become your target gap. And this has become your target to remove this gap, close this gap, because your estimated cost is higher than the target cost. So now you have to put all your efforts to close target cost gap by reducing cost to target cost level. Okay. All right. So this is the step number 7. Step number 7 is about close target cost gap. This is more likely to successful if efforts are made to design out. Means now, in order to reduce the cost, you have to focus on a lot of things, on design, on each specification, on materials, on components. You have to look at every little detail. Okay, every little detail to consider to cut your cost and cut your target cost gap. And this is the learning outcome number next. Okay, learning outcome number 3. That's how to close the target cost gap. So here are a few ways. Closing a target cost gap is the estimate, means techniques. The different techniques for closing the target cost gap is redesign the product and its features. Yes, you may need to look at the change the design of the product, because existing design might be causing higher cost. So if you are making a backpack, so how you can reduce the cost of backpack? You can review the design of your new product, that is backpack. Okay, its features, for example, how many pockets you are going to uh, include, how many zippers you are going to include, how many other sheets, materials, its external pockets, internal pockets, okay? Or if you are adding some like electronic stuff or this and that, how many features you are going to add. Reducing number of components, purchase materials in bulk quantity, using cheaper stuff, using standard components wherever possible, control material wastage, acquiring new, more efficient technology, training staff in more efficient techniques, cutting out non-value added activities, cutting out non-value added activities by using ABC. Okay, use experienced labor to take the benefit of learning curve effect and use different materials. So these are the different ways that can be used to cut the cost, reduce the cost of the product, bring it to your target cost level. Okay, all right, I think that is sufficient for today. Tomorrow, we will be covering the remaining topic, last topic, that difficulty of using target costing in service industries. And then we will be moving on to advantages of target costing. But I can recommend you that you can go through these topics if possible. So we can start from this question that we will be doing in our next class, and then life cycle costing and throughput accounting. Okay, so that's all for our today class. I hope you have understood all the concepts and the topics that we have discussed today. And I really appreciate you all for your wonderful discussions and all your calculations and participation. Thanks a lot being part of today's class, and have a wonderful evening and good night. Thank you very much. I see you next class on next Saturday. Bye.